YouTube, what it do, man? It's your boy HudroFromDeep, Hudro Reacts. Back at y'all with another video, man. Today, we're gonna be reacting to a video called The Major Problems with the Black Community. This video is by a channel called Black Culture Unlocked. I've never seen or heard of any of this, but then again, I'm not that tapped into the space. So let's click this video, man, and let's see what it's all about. Screen recording now.
Truth be told, there are still major concerns about the Black community, and in this documentary, we'll be taking a look at some of the most concerning ones. First concern, high rate of Black imprisonment.
What the hell?
One of the biggest concerns in the Black community today is the alarming rate of Black incarceration. As far back as 1970, Blacks made up just...
Let me explain that real quick. Black incarceration is at the rate it's at, I think, because of what's popular in the Black community and the desire to fit in. There's a desire within the Black community to fit in. A lot of these things we aren't doing because of our circumstances, our financial circumstances. I feel like that's cap. Let's get to the video though, man. Let me see. You're not doing it because of your financial circumstances. You're doing it because you're trying to fit in, and that's why you're incarcerated.
11.1% of the total American population. But would you believe it if I told you that they accounted for more than 46% of the people locked up in correctional facilities in the entire country? Let me make it clear. America has a total population of about 300 million people, which means 11.1% of that is about 33 million. So, how can a population as small as 33 million make up more than 46% of people locked up in American prisons? But hey, that was back in the 70s. So how do those numbers look now? Well, the stats are still not encouraging. This is because as of 2024, Blacks are still topping the charts in terms of races going to prison.
Programs of the drug war continued targeting low-income communities of color with more police, more surveillance, and eventually more incarceration under much harsher sentences.
The Black community still has an outrageous representation in American prisons, as about 30% of inmates in 2024 are Black.
And I walked out of prison with a lot of optimism, despite being told by the officers that I would probably be back in 6 months.
There are many reasons why Black folks form the bulk of the population in U.S. prisons.
Nah, if you go back, it's up to you.
Before we do, I'd like to share another staggering statistic with you. Believe it or not, but the imprisonment rate among Black women in America is twice the number of white women.
But now, the U.S. locks more people up.
What? I didn't know that. Damn, even the
2 million
sisters.
Americans are in jail.
Even the sisters get locked up. Damn.
And more than 200,000 of those prisoners are female.
These numbers can only force us to ask a few relevant questions. First, considering just how low the general Black American population is compared to the general white population in the U.S., how come there are far more Blacks in prison than whites? Does that mean white folks do not break the law? I mean, for the fact that they are the most populous race in America, surely they must have...
White people for sure break the law. White people just break different
the larger
laws.
share of bad eggs, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Black folks just love to break the law. Or have they been systemically coerced by America's predominantly white government to do so? But wait, what if these disastrous numbers paint a picture of a blatant racial prejudice that serves as the social construct of modern-day America? There are many questions to be asked, and they all deserve valid, honest answers. If these issues are not addressed, then who's to say that Black incarceration will not continue to be a problem for decades to come? Before we ponder too much on this matter, let's take a look at another pressing concern in the Black community. Second concern, high rate of mental illness among Black people. The second concern that we want to discuss is the high rate of mental health problems among African Americans. Mental illnesses, like depression, are quite common among the general population, but studies have shown that its prevalence is especially high in Black communities, according to Mental Health America.
Let me talk about that real quick. I would say that there is a mental health crisis in the African American community because there is a family crisis, for one, and there is also an internal crisis. So what you grow up in, a lot of the times, your trauma from your childhood can lead and it can affect you in your adulthood. So a lot of the times in Black communities, we come from these messed up circumstances. We see a lot of messed up things, and it transfers into It creates who we are. It's forming who we are into adulthood. These messed up things that we're seeing, it's affecting us in our adulthood. And that's why there's a mental health crisis. How I deal with it, because I have seen some messed up things. You know, I feel like a lot of people have seen messed up things, so it's not a competition, but I just chill, man. Like, I just be chilling out. Like, I don't like to stress. I don't like to think too hard on different things. Like, man, I just enjoy my existence, you know? Like, by any means, I'm just trying to enjoy my existence while I'm here, you know?
An estimated 13.4% of all Americans are black, and among these, more than 16% have a reported mental illness. This figure equals more than 7 million black people having to live with these conditions. There are different things that contribute to the high rate of mental illnesses in black communities, and according to reports, the fact that modern-day racism is still present is a big factor. There are also disparities that need to be taken into consideration here. We have to consider the fact that a lot of black communities don't have access to the care they need to address these mental illnesses. And when these people don't get the treatment they need, the conditions can have a major impact on their health, quality of life, and productivity. To get a better picture, we should look at some statistics. Studies have found that black people in the US are much more likely to have feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness when compared to white people in the country. Apart from these, feelings of sadness are also higher in black communities. When looking
I don't agree with that, because where I'm from, and there's a lot of places like where I'm from, everybody is just super confident, and you have to compete with their confidence. There's no hopelessness. There's no sadness. I don't know what he's talking about. Where I come from in the hood, everybody, I feel like in a lot of other people's hood, niggas is confident. Niggas is confident in the football field. Niggas is confident in the basketball court. Niggas is confident in the streets. Niggas is confident everywhere. Like, everywhere niggas might try to take your girl, that's how confident niggas be. Niggas is confident in the hood. Sometimes overconfident. Sometimes too confident. Confidence is the problem. I wouldn't say no niggas. I mean, there's some niggas who sad or whatever, but I'm talking about like niggas who in the mix, like niggas you bump into, niggas you run into. Like, there's weird niggas everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about just niggas on the normal that you know what I'm saying, see every day, walking to class, walking to the store, wherever you at in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, niggas is confident, bro, and niggas will try you. That's one thing about it. A nigga will try your ass.
Teenagers,
like,
the likeliness of attempting suicide is also greater in African Americans. Researchers found that the suicide attempt rate is about 6.1% among white teenagers, but 9.8% among black teenagers. Between 2008 and 2018, there was also a significant increase in the prevalence of mental illnesses among black people in the country, and this leads to extra problems. For example, research has also shown that black people with these illnesses have a greater risk of turning to marijuana, cigarettes, illicit drugs, and binge drinking. Plus,
ain't nothing wrong. Everything is okay in moderation. Let me explain the substances. Everything is okay in moderation. Take from that what you will. Everything is okay.
Some studies have also
moderation.
stated that black people tend to be affected by depression at greater levels of severity when compared to other populations or communities. This all creates big problems, as conditions like depression, especially when it goes untreated, can result in poor productivity, issues with concentration, headaches, fatigue, and much more. In the long term, this can have a big impact on the lives and well-being of black people. Third concern: destruction of the family structure. They say family is everything, and when I say family, I'm talking about a loving home with a father, mother, and kids. A home with responsible parents will more likely raise kids who have morals and discipline. Anything other than that can be absolutely chaotic to individuals and the communities they live in. Unfortunately, a proper family structure has been lacking in America's black communities for as long as most of us can remember. According to a 2002 study, it was discovered that more than 70% of black kids in America were illegitimate. Are you surprised? Well, don't be, because there is a strong reason for this.
The very beginning of the welfare system was the passage of the aid to dependent mothers early in the New Deal. And you know what? It was perfectly reasonable.
The disintegration of the black family structure began in slavery, where they did evil things to tear us apart, but really ramped up in 1963 when the US government declared welfare as a right. Sure, getting money from the government has its perks, but believe me when I say its downsides are much greater. After welfare became law, black women stopped getting married and began raising kids as single mothers. The case is still the same today, as there are just too many black households that do not have fathers.
The only way you cannot be emotional is you have to have a father who teaches you and trains your emotions. Other than that, your mama, you have to be emotional because that's the only time your mother whoops you. You got no spankings when your mother was calm and not emotional. So that's why you're emotional. You were disciplined with emotion. You wasn't disciplined with logical rules to follow. You got spanked when you were frustrated. You didn't get spanked calmly and taught why you were being spanked. So you can't undo this, homie. What's done now, we can't undo this. We'll be dead and gone before we see a new group of men that don't respond like us.
As a black man, what can I instill in a young black boy to make sure that he doesn't respond with emotion?
Treat his mother right and train your child's emotions. So it means you have to spend time with your son. I mean, you got to spend a lot of time with your son.
For most kids in the hood, without a father at home, the streets will become their teachers. They'll learn how to use and sell drugs, how to rob, and commit other.
Hey, let me speak on this real quick, man. This is for when you don't have a dad. I'm speaking. This is a sensitive topic a little bit. When you don't have a dad anywhere, not just the hood, you're kind of forced to teach and choose yourself. But you're at such a young age where it's like, man, you're so liable to choose the wrong thing because you're so young. So you don't know what to follow, like, because you're so young. You don't have a dad. Nobody's teaching you. So it's like you don't know what to think, what to do, how to even speak, how to walk, how to dress. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know any of this stuff. You're just out here, you know what I'm saying? But the streets, when you go outside and you got the big homie down the street who he sell a little bit of weed, but man, he hoop, or you know what I'm saying? Like, or you fucked up and 2 blocks away, it's a rapper who going up. Every time he pull up, he pulling up in a Charger, he pulling up in a Challenger. He pulling up, you know what I'm saying? He pulling up clean, like, and that's where you start to see these figures, these male figures, and you start to say, okay, that's what I want to be like, or you start extracting from these influences, but you don't know that these influences are bad or are wrong. You know what I mean? You're just extracting from what you think is good. Because like I said, the things that these people have are attractive to a young mind. You know what I mean? Like these cars, clothes, girl. I'm talking about boys. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just little boys. But when they see men, they see that the man got these cars, he got these clothes, he got these girls, he got this jewelry, he got the money, he got the crib, you know what I mean? They see this lifestyle and it's attractive to them. All of these things are external factors and they really carry no value. I'm foaming that side of the mouth and shit. Yeah, they really carry no value because you can't take them with you when you leave. But to the young mind, all of these things are extremely attractive. So that's why the young boys, without a father to teach them, they gravitate towards these things. And they become,
crimes worthy of sending them to prison. But wait, was this the plan of the white power all along? Of course, everyone should take responsibility for their actions. But it's hard to do the right thing when you've been thrown into a system where it's almost impossible. Growing up without a father will more likely than not leave psychological scars on a child, and too many black kids have had to deal with those scars throughout their entire upbringing. Take a look at Lil RT, a 9-year-old rapper who talks about smacking people with guns and running from the police. Apparently, Little is known about his father,
Lord T be
while his
chilling,
mother
bro.
has been the one in charge of promoting his violent and explicit music.
Yeah, his mom holding it down. Look like, and he doing his thing musically, like he talented.
I mean, it'll take a miracle for this fatherless kid to refrain from his way of life.
Come on, man.
But that goes to show just how much the black home has been destroyed. I'll leave you with one more heartbreaking
I don't think he's doing nothing wrong. I mean, bro, the music is the music. You know what I mean? Like,
but has anyone ever told you that 30% of the total number of abortions in
no
the US are done by black women? Hard to believe, but true. And this alarming act
white women
is another
abort
testament
more
to
than
how much the family
women.
structure among black people has been depleted. The high practice,
even though I don't agree with
black
abortion,
women
abortion
has
is
also
not.
led to
Abortion
something
is
even more
wrong.
alarming, which
But
is
white
an
women get
increase
more abortions
in the
than black women.
underappreciation of human
That's
life.
a fact.
It has also led to a reduction in the
Look it
civility
up.
with which black women treat each other. America knows a strong family is the key to building real wealth and change the world. And as long as we keep up this trend of single-parent households, we will just be doing exactly what they want us to do. We've been brainwashed since birth, but it's time for us to take our power back and realize who we truly are. If you're ready to educate yourself and learn the information they never taught you in school, click the link in our bio to grab our new Hidden History Workbook. It includes 10 hidden black history stories that schools and the media purposefully keep hidden
it's a
from us.
person who
This will only
narrated
be
this
available
black.
for a
He
limited
don't
time.
sound black.
Click the link in our
Like,
description
I don't
to
know.
grab yours now for free. Fourth concern, the victim mindset.
Nigga, don't sound black, bro.
That got a deputy sheriff in Georgia placed on leave. It shows a black man being pinned and beaten during an arrest, and it is provoking outrage online. ABC's Elwin Lopez is in Atlanta with much more. Elwin, good morning to you.
We cannot deny the fact that the powers that be in America have brought poverty, violence, and crime into the black community. As a result of this, a lot of black folks have unfortunately developed a victim mindset. Not to say one shouldn't point fingers in the right direction, but blaming everyone else for your problems will do nothing to move you forward. This is another major.
This is my thing. Who are we blaming? Black people, I do believe some people in general do have a problem. They blame. Let me cut it line. They like to blame, but I don't think this is that substantial of an issue, because this is an issue of the minority. The majority of black people are well off and have figured it out, but there's a minority of black people who want to stick to the traditional victim, hopelessness, sadness, anger, just this emotional mind state. While I believe a majority of black people have moved on. A majority of black people you see nowadays are just trying to get some money. You ask a black person nowadays, like, walk up to any random black person you see in Walmart. They look like they got on decent clothes. They look like they took a shower that day. And they look, you know what I mean? They like they're in shape, or even some not that in shape. Like, just look at how people, the clean one, they just look clean. You can know when a motherfucker look clean. You see them in Walmart, you see them at the mall. Black person, they look clean. Ask them about this type of stuff. They're going to tell you exactly how they, like, they're going to tell you, like, bro, I'm just trying to get some money. I don't care about none of that other, like, no, it's the minority, such a minority of people who they want to hold on to this. They want to hold on to the pain. They want to hold on to the hurt. And they want to use that to push them forward. We need reparations. We need this. We need, when really you need to get off your ass. Really, you know what I mean? Like, they think there's a minority of them, they think they're owed something. Like, someone should give them something so that way they can elevate, because what someone is doing to them is holding them down. When in reality, nobody's doing anything to you. You can become a millionaire. You can do whatever you want. Like, nobody's holding you back from doing whatever you want. Like,
concern within our community, as black people have now allowed their victim status to define their true identities.
Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chop those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is.
The worst part is, playing the role of victim can actually stop one from taking responsibility for the things they should be responsible for. You have no power when you play the victim, and you have to take responsibility for your choices. Black folks in the hood need to look at things from a more positive angle. Even if you don't have a father figure or good role models to look up to, just take a look at people from our culture who have succeeded in various walks of life. There are black doctors, nurses, pilots, accountants, bankers, and so on.
He said
this is
our
America,
culture. Okay, so
a
he is
country where you
black.
can become anything you want if you put your mind to it. It's true the black community
said
isn't
our
where it
culture.
wants to be yet, but no one can deny that black Americans have significantly moved up the food chain in terms of wealth. After all, how many black millionaires and billionaires do you know from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s? Not much, I assume. Things have changed today. Entrepreneurship is another great way to create true wealth for yourself. Trust me when I say that having a victim mindset can limit your progress, just
But I
as
told
it
you,
has
bro, get to the
limited
money.
progress in many of America's black communities. Now, one organization that is actively promoting the victim mindset in America is none other than Black Lives Matter.
But first, we want to give you a sense of what happened. We're going to begin tonight in Minneapolis. That's where the Black Lives Matter riots first began almost 2 weeks ago. As the violence there raged, some Democratic leaders in Minneapolis came to a conclusion that didn't, on the surface anyway, make intuitive sense.
And no, I'm not saying black people don't need a voice to speak up for them. I'm just saying that it isn't everything that's the white man's fault, and not every bad thing that happens to a black person is as a result of government propaganda. As insensitive as this may sound, there are black folks who should be in prison for the violent crimes they committed, whether we admit it or not. In the case of Black Lives Matter, everything done to a black person by a white man is labeled as unfair and an injustice, but that should not always be the case. Members of the black community should learn how to look at things more rationally and call it what it is, not what their victim mindset says it is. By doing so, we can properly address the issues that are really affecting our communities, instead of pointing accusing fingers in every direction except ourselves. Fifth concern, modern rap music. Music will always be an effective tool for communication around the world. It can be used to teach kids the alphabet, it's used in advertising campaigns, and it helps us get into the right mood. However, music can also be used to send negative messages that can influence the thought processes of those who consume it. Now, according to Billboard, hip-hop is one of the most popular music genres in the world, and being that it's a genre that was created by black folks, it's no surprise that the largest consumers of hip-hop music are us. The problem with rap music nowadays is the negative messages it sends across to the youth, which in turn has now caused a major concern among
What about the positive ones?
Gone are the days when artists use rap music as a tool to speak against societal ills. Gone are the days when artists spoke truth to power about issues that plague the black ghettos of America. And gone are the days when artists like KRS-One used his music to teach black history, as well as open our eyes to the truth. But it wasn't just the politically charged rappers that made rap music the powerful force it was in the 70s and 80s. Because rappers like LL Cool J, who weren't what you would call conscious, used their music to talk about love and make you feel good. Unfortunately, all that would change in the late 80s with the advent of rappers like Ice-T and the NWA, who began pushing a subgenre of rap known as gangsta rap. They took hip-hop in a completely new direction. It used to be centered around the upliftment of black folks by speaking out against racism, segregation, and government policies that were destructive to the black community. Gangsta rappers rapped about guns, selling drugs, sex.
Like Joey Badass,
it used to be centered around the upliftment of black folks by speaking out against racism, segregation, and government policies that were destructive.
This nigga right here, this nigga in a white coat. Don't this nigga like Joey Badass a little bit? Nah.
Gangsta rappers rapped about guns, selling drugs, sex, gang violence, and even killing their fellow black brothers. Now it seems black folks preferred ignorant music to the conscious ones because before you knew it, gangsta rap had become far more popular than the original, which promoted peace and upliftment. The NWA sold millions of records when they first came out, and even though they rapped about the ills of police violence on young black men, the way they presented their message was just too explicit. The Police happens to be one of their biggest songs to date, but like I said earlier, the way the message was presented seemed more violent than diplomatic. Did you know that after the release of this particular song, young black males thought it was cool to throw rocks and other hard objects at police cars? Did you also know that compliance with the police also reduced drastically among members of the black community? As for the others who had adopted gangster rap, they too talked about killing their fellow black men, degrading women, and selling drugs. Yes, rap became very violent in the 90s. Unfortunately for the black community, the kids were always listening. Fast forward to modern day, and rap is still as violent as ever. Biggie was shot, Tupac was shot, King Von was shot, Nipsey Hussle was shot, Takeoff was shot, and the list goes on. Unfortunately, as long as black kids keep idolizing these rappers, then their lyrics will continue to influence how they live in the ghettos. I mean, if a black boy's favorite rapper says shooting a fellow black man is cool, then it'll be hard to convince him that black on black violence, or violence for that matter, is wrong.
This shit is
but
focusing on
it
the
isn't just
negative,
black boys who are at risk of being destroyed by modern rap music.
Any rap music
Young
that
black
you can
girls
listen
are
to
also
put
being
you in
led
a good
astray by
mood,
the
bro.
current
This
crop
shit is
of
like
female rappers
focusing on
who
the
are now
negative.
dominating
Like,
the airwaves. Of course,
this isn't all
female
hip
rap
hop
isn't
is,
as
bro.
violent as that of their male counterparts. In this case, the problem lies in the over-sexualization of the female body. Rappers like Cardi B, Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj.
Cardi B isn't black, but first of all, bruh, this shit is only focusing on the negative, and to talk about the negative, I feel like it's important. Like, you can't just dodge, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to dodge the negative aspects of hip-hop music. Hip-hop has negative aspects. Yes, I can admit it. But doesn't everything? There's negative aspects in country music. There's negative aspects in rock and roll. You never hear, you know what I mean? Like, nobody never talk about Kurt Cobain. And nobody never talk about these rock stars who... From my eye. Nobody never talking about these rock stars who out here, you know what I mean, going crazy. But forever we talking about these rappers. You want to know why? Because we the most influential in the world. That's why. But this is just focusing on the negative aspects, I feel like. I wonder if he's going to include the positive
Sexy Red and Ice Spice have made it cool for girls to take their clothes off and display their privates on TV and social media.
This isn't a major problem.
Course,
like, hip-hop is not a major problem
suit,
in the
but
black
it isn't
community.
just explicit dressing that causes concern for young black girls. The lyrics are becoming a problem too. I mean, new school female rappers talk about doing all
like, bro,
sorts
why
of
they bring
nasty
hip-hop
things
into
with
this,
as
bro?
many men
Like,
as they please. Probably
bro,
because
it's
they
not
have
a major
money
problem.
and feel
like,
that black men should be their boy toys.
A lot of black people
now,
don't even listen to
everyone
hip-hop.
has the right to dress as they wish.
Hold on. I just slapped them in the face with that one. A lot of black people don't even. It's black people who listen to R&B. You got black people who listen to alternative music. You got black people who listen to jazz. Not every black person listens to hip hop and only hip hop. Like, this is just a part of our culture, something we created. This isn't our entire identity. Hip hop isn't our entire identity. Like, this is just something we created. Hip hop, everybody, you got black people who don't even listen to hip hop at all, like, and still experience the same problems. So you putting hip hop into this, let me know, you know what I mean? You don't even really know what you, but yeah, hip hop is not a major problem in the black community.
No
bro. Why'd you
culturally
include
sound
this?
black man would want to marry a girl who talks and dresses like a hoe. Sixth concern: black on black crime. We talked about the fact that black boys are starting to think it's cool to shoot other black boys. It's a result of rap music that talks about this and makes crime seem
Yeah,
like
this is fucked up, bro. This is fucked up. Let me talk on this. It's not cool, bro, like, to kill, to even put your hands on somebody. Like, you should never think, okay, this is what I have to do unless someone is attacking you. You should carry yourself to be aggressive, but never be the aggressor. Aggressive, but not the aggressor. Let me explain that. Meaning, if someone puts a hand on you, if someone is attacking you, whether verbally or physically, you need to be able to attack back viciously and let them understand that they should not be attacking you. But you should never be viciously attacking someone who has not done anything to you. That is wrong. That's just to explain that it's definitely not cool to kill anyone, but definitely not your black brother. Like, come on, man. Like, give a brother, if it's me, man, I'm giving them a pass. I be giving out passes. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't be, especially if you black, like, bro, I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, go get rich. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to kill you. If you my op, I want you to go get as rich as you can. Like, hey, go take care of your family. Hey, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't want to kill you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Okay, and this brings us to another important concern that we shouldn't overlook: black on black crime. Apart from rapping, take that completely out of the picture, and we're still left with a big problem where black people are not only hurting, but also killing those in their own communities. There are some statistics that we should take into consideration here. In one publication, researchers mention that in up to 90% of cases where a black is killed, the killer is actually also a black person. Current evidence also suggests that in 52% of these cases, the victim and the killer knew each other. But how do these rates compare to whites and other ethnic groups? Well, it was found that the rate of black on black crime is up to 8 times higher compared to black on white crime. There are different potential reasons for the higher rates of crime.
That's from a movie. That's crazy.
Looking at
a lot of the hold up. It's crazy. A lot of the shit, a lot of the B-roll that he's putting in here, a lot of it is from movies and hip hop music videos, dog. That's crazy. But they're painting, this image is gonna be painted of every black person. You know what I'm saying? Every black person. You watch the movie, you watch the hip hop video, and now you go to Walmart and now you think this is every black person. Or now, you know what I mean, you go to the post office, now you at work and you think this is every black person. You think hip hop is you think these movies, you think this is every black person. This is an incorrect image being painted. Not all of us,
Blacks,
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
compared to other ethnic
groups. A lot of this shit, bro.
One aspect
look, this is the
that has been
news.
discussed is the psychological well-being of people in black communities. There are crime prevention programs in place, but they don't really address the fact that psychological elements are in play when it comes to looking at black on black crime. For example, it has been found that self-hatred plays a big role in this type of crime.
Crazy.
When a black person experiences a serious level of self-hatred, it sometimes results in blind rage, and in this case, crime and murder may follow, justified by their own self-hatred. Of course, there have been cases where the statistics are falsified. When Donald Trump was a presidential candidate back in 2015, he published an image on Twitter where he claimed that among black people who are killed, in 97% of cases, the killer is another black person. He also alleged that among white people who are murdered, 80% of the cases, there's a black killer behind it. This was deemed as false information when a universal crime report from the FBI was released. Yes, the number of black people being killed by others of their own community was alarmingly high, at 90%. The accusations against blacks for the death of whites were completely wrong. According to the FBI, this figure was actually 14.8%. After an 11-year-old boy, Devon McNeil, was shot, his grandpa made a statement that really shook the community. Now, first, you should understand that McNeil was black, and the suspects in the shooting, they were also black people. His grandpa said that, as he sees things, black lives only matter, specifically focusing on the Black Lives Matter campaigns and awareness protests when someone from the police pulls the trigger of a gun. Now, one thing that we do know is that police brutality against black people still remains an important point today. But McNeil's grandfather did mention something important. When it comes to these campaigns, we shouldn't just be focusing on police brutality. We need to look within our own communities as well, such as in this case, where a black man was the one to pull the trigger of the gun, and it ended up killing a black boy. Thus, black on black crime is something that we shouldn't forget about or overlook. It still remains a really big problem in black communities, and it's something that pulls our people apart instead of bringing us together as a community. 7th concern, blacks not supporting black businesses. The last thing we want to talk about is black business.
I'm gonna skip past that, man, cause I feel like we oversupport, man. I seen a nigga making a rug on Instagram I went to high school with, man. This nigga start creating rugs and shit, like really making the rug from scratch. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I DM, bro. I'm like, bro, let me get a custom rug and shit, bro. I got a whole lot of red rug. I wish I still had the screenshot, but yeah, I got a little custom rug from bro. I'm like, man, how much? This nigga wanted $60, bro. I gave the nigga $300, bro. I'm like, bro, here you go, bro. I'm supporting the fuck out of this nigga business, bro. Bro, why this nigga disappeared, bro? This nigga disappeared on me, gang. I'm supporting you. Like, I'm not the type of nigga you run. The niggas who support you aren't the ones you should be running off on. Niggas out here, wow, bro. It's different when they come to supporting, you know what I'm saying, black people. Because some niggas, they just niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, they not really trying to elevate. Like, they still in that same, that poverty mind frame, that live, you know what I'm saying? They don't see a better life even for themselves. So you just gotta lead them niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, fuck your business, nigga, fuck your whatever you trying to do, cause you ain't trying to progress as a community. Like, you want some selfish shit, like, bruh, fuck that, bruh. That's the end of this video, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. If you disagree, if you agree, let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.